Hello everybody, we've got a special edition, not a Danimal Weekly, but we're going to be reviewing Johnny Payne's Greyskull LP 2nd edition. Just came out today, I just finished up reading it. I was already familiar with the first one, so it wasn't all that hard to read the second one. I already had a general sense of what it was going to be about. But I've already gotten a ton of questions as to what's in it, what's new about it, why is it better than Starting Strength, already from like multiple people. So rather than writing shit out and making phone calls and wasting all this time doing that, I'm just going to do a video on it, do a whole little review of it. It'll be decent length. So just to start, because everybody's going to compare this to Starting Strength. So I'm just going to knock it out first. And I'm not going to beat around the bush, not naming names and blah-de-blah. Everybody knows JP was associated with RIP for a long time, so everybody compares JP's programs to RIP's programs. And I'm not going to harp on this too much, but the reasons I like the Grayskull LP better than RIP's programs. Now, let me qualify this by saying I did Starting Strength for 6 to 7 months. I did the Texas method for 6 months. I did the Grayskull LP for 8 months. And I've also done 531. And I'm currently doing a modified Texas version by Justin Lasik of 70s Big. So I've been there, done it all, and I've coached people on the exact same programs, trying them all, and I've seen how all of them work, and I have a very good understanding of how I respond to all of them, as well do my trainees. So to start, the one thing that's really nice about the GSLP are the resets. A lot of times what happens in any sort of the Starting Strength variations is someone will creep up to a really heavy weight for them, say 315 just for example, and then they'll start to fail. They won't be able to hit their 3 sets of 5, and then they don't really know what to do. Do they reset? Do they try to do it with just shitty form and just kill themselves trying to get this weight? They don't know what to do, so inevitably they'll end up resetting. And then they trudge through the same 3 sets of 5, getting back up to where they were, hoping they're a little bit stronger. Now the way JP cures this problem is by entering what he calls a Grayskull Reset. So when you get to that point where you can't reach that 5 reps on that last set, take 10% off of that lift and go at it again. But since he changes the rep scheme, you do 2 sets of 5, and then the last set you do as many as you can over 5 reps, traditionally in most of the variations. Then what that allows you to do is, since you've been tracking your progress, you can continually smash old PRs and still see how much stronger you're getting in spite of the fact you're lifting lighter weight. So this keeps people interested in the program, keeps them from getting bored, and allows them to make continual progress, because the whole founding principle of training any biological adaptation is you have to stress the system to get that favorable adaptation, which is exactly what that reset allows you to do. Everybody loves to forget that biological fact when we're talking about these programs, but JP's program does that very well. So I've already harped on his rep scheme a little bit. That's part of the magic of the program and keeping people interested in driving that progress through that stress that you're constantly providing, rather than using stress level you've already done, like at Starting Strength, if you were to reset. So then another big nice thing about the GSLP 2nd edition is the movement coaching. You get how Johnny Payne coaches the movements and how he breaks them down. This is an improvement over how RIP does it for a few reasons. One, RIP's book is a biomechanical breakdown of the lifts in very detailed form. Most people don't need that. They don't want to know about the lateral and medial knee relative to the femur in the deep squat and like the pocket of a squat and like how that changes throughout the movement. And nobody wants to know this shit. Most people that Johnny Payne trains. And unless you're like a biomechanics nerd, you don't want to know it. It's boring shit. Now, I am a kinesiology major at a large public university. We're one of the largest universities in Illinois. And so you could probably call me one of the more interested people on biomechanics. I still don't care that much. Have I read Starting Strength? Yes. Is there some interesting things in there for me? Yeah, there's some interesting shit. Is it useful? No, it's not. It really isn't. So JP cuts out all the bullshit and gives you the simple foundations of all the movements and how to coach them easily and in a basic form, which is really the magic of the whole thing. I stole personally how JP coaches the squat and how he coaches the press. I really liked it. The simple breakdown, and it's effective. It works. So that's what he does. He gives people a very simple and effective way to coach and use the movements, as opposed to giving them all this fluff that no one really understands unless you have a background in biomechanics and anatomy, and boring the shit out of people. So he manages to keep it engaging and still be useful at the same time. So what's new? Everybody that bought the first edition wants to know what's new about the second edition. Should they buy it? Essentially, first off, it's almost 100 pages longer. I think it is over 100 pages longer than the first one. So there's a lot more content in it. It's a lot more fleshed out. Like I already talked about, the detailed movement explanations. You get how Johnny Payne coaches the movements and how he wants you to do them, which you'll find out is not as strict as some other people would lead you to believe is necessary. Then every question that's ever been asked on the Greyskull forums about how to adapt it to a specific situation has been answered. He talks about how to do it for a football player, how to do it with an Olympic weightlifting focus, how to do it with a powerlifting focus, how to do it for a female who wants to lose weight focus, how to do it for a female who wants a bigger ass focus. Like every focus or little specific sort of adaptation you want to make for the program, he's covered. So if you've ever been wondering how to help it use the program to improve this or that, it will provide a great deal of value and insight as to how he would do it with the Greyskull LP. You start to realize that the Greyskull LP isn't this very strict sort of, you must do the fucking program like Rip says, or you won't get any results. You can still get great results while making changes in the program to your specific goals. Those are really the two biggest things. And in the detailed movement explanations, there are pictures provided. So it accompanies his text explanation with actual visual images to give you an idea of exactly what he's talking about. That's really the essence. And then he covers even more of the plugins in finer detail, like the frequency method for the chin-ups and push-ups and things like that. And he just flushes those out even further. So it's basically everything everybody wanted in the first edition, or later after we read it, we all wanted that. It's all there in the second edition. It's the complete sort of Greyskull LP. Because I would assume that's because he just didn't know that there was such a need and such a interest in how he would do those certain things. He didn't know that was there for the first edition, so now he's included in the second edition, and so it's really the complete product. So if you liked the first edition and you wanted to know those things, you should definitely pick up the second edition. Now I'm going to address some common criticisms of the program and of Johnny Payne, just because I really even shouldn't, because most people that say they should are just trolls. But just to sort of clear some things up, the cost of the book, the reason it's $30 is because it's worth $30. That is the value of the book. Whatever you get out of the book will be at least $30, especially if you didn't even read the first one. That's a guarantee at this point. Now, a lot of people are like, oh, so-and-so, I got this other book that's way longer, and some yada yada, Rip's book's a lot longer and better, whatever. It's color and shit. Okay, but the book is worth whatever they're charging. Now, the best quote I've ever heard to summarize that is, I argue not with people who charge less for their services, for they know what they are worth. If someone's charging $10 for their program, and it happens to be 4 times longer than Johnny Payne's program, it's because it's worth a third of the price. That's how this works. It's a value for value exchange. It's really that simple. I want you to think about this to put this in perspective. Do you think his book, that he spent hours and hours over the last year making, is worth 2 cases of beer? Just think about that for a second. If you don't think it's worth 2 cases of beer, don't buy it. If you live in the city of Chicago, that's 3 packs of cigarettes. 3 packs of cigarettes in Chicago after taxes is $30. If you don't think his book is worth 3 packs of cigarettes, don't buy it. Seriously, you're stupid. You're stupid at this point if you don't see the value there. It's 2 cases of beer, 3 packs of cigarettes. However, whatever equivalent you want to put it to, that's what it's worth. And the reason that's the reason it costs so much. And the second common criticism you'll always hear is his lack of credentials. He's even joked with me that I'm technically more credentialed than him, since I'm very close to completing a bachelor's degree in kinesiology. Now, first off, if you think he's stupid, you don't think he knows what he's talking about because of his credentials, think of the people that associate them with him. So that would be Rob Wolf. Rob Wolf's very close to him in the past. They've fallen out a little bit, but they're still in touch and they still have a good relationship. Rob Wolf's a real smart dude. Think about Captain Kirk. Captain Kirk did a seminar at his gym with him. Captain Kirk was the guest star of that seminar. So clearly Captain Kirk thinks Johnny Payne knows something and kind of knows at the very least what's kind of going on. And they have a good relationship. Do you think Captain Kirk just does seminars with people that are idiots? No, the man squatted over 1,000 pounds twice. Twice. So if you're not willing to listen to a man about strength training, his judgment, who's squatted over 1,000 pounds twice, a set of two, then you should just stop lifting weights. And then just from my personal experience, being a kinesiology major at a very well-respected university, I deal with people with PhDs in biomechanics, nutrition, kinesiology, exercise science, sports psychology on a daily basis. These are my teachers, professors, and friends. I know them very well, and I know what they think about strength training and nutrition. I know what their ideas are about it from academia. And they really don't know shit in the practical application of both. Just to put this in perspective, two of my professors, masters and PhDs, they had both PhDs and masters in sports psychology or exercise science kinesiology. I taught them how to squat, press, deadlift, and bench. They didn't know how. These are the people educating me on the things of this nature, and they didn't know how to do them properly. I had to teach them. Think about that. So for all you people that are like this or that study, bro science, yada yada, please shut up. You've never been in an academic setting dealing with the people you wish had done studies on it. The people that you want to see studies from are the people I deal with on a daily basis, and I know how smart they are, and I know what their views are on training and how they train people. And the fact of the matter is they're not good at barbell or strength training, and their studies don't mean shit. This is a person who deals with them on a daily basis and is paying thousands of dollars for a piece of paper at the end of 4 years. So really, if that doesn't, put some perspective on academia and how much you should value it, then nothing will, and you're a lost cause. So as it stands, the Greyskull 2nd edition is the most useful book available for people that want to build muscle, get strong, and look good. If you want to be bored to tears, waste a lot of time, and adopt a lot of limiting beliefs, don't buy it. Buy Rip's book. Honestly, I think for the pure nature that JP's book is so simple, and it's simple but yet fleshed out to its fullest extent that it probably ever will be, you should pick up this over starting strength. If you're like a biomechanics nerd and you want to know a lot of useless shit about coaching and movement, starting strength might be worth your time. But if you just want to get strong and look good, spend the money on the Grayskull LP 2nd edition. Thanks, guys. Hope you enjoyed this review. I'm sure it's going to piss a whole lot of people off. I didn't beat around the bush at all. I named names and I called out people, but that's fine. I'm tired of people talking in convoluted language about this or that. So there it is. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Pick it up if you think it's worth it. I certainly enjoyed it a lot. Obviously, you've already heard my opinions on it. So have a great day, guys. Peace out.